This one may get me in hot water, so I'm going to put my disclaimers at the beginning. All of this is my opinion based on my observations and research on this particular company and these people. I'm not an investment advisor. I'm a wannabe private detective / investigative journalist. This is a editorial piece. Everything is alleged, but I found a lot of stuff that make me believe that this is going to be a scam or will end up being a scam. It may not, that may not be the intentions of the founders. We talked about this a lot. A lot of people start out with good intentions that if everything goes exactly the way I want it to, and I get all the money I need from my investors, then it'll be great. But if I don't, I've also set this up in such a way that I'll get out with some money and everybody else will lose money.
So we're not talking about the intentions of anybody. This is all alleged. This is all our opinion.
This is not a scam yet, but I bet you that it will end up as a scam. So I got an ad on Facebook for an investment opportunity, which is the first red flag, right?
All right. That's all we need. Yep. That's all we need. Case closed.
Okay. But I keep seeing this ad, maybe because I click on it. And we're talking about garage mahals here. Big investment opportunity. There's motorsports complexes being built all over the country. Millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars being spent on these places. Rich guys love them. I love them. I can't afford them, but they're cool. However, with that opportunity, there's a lot of opportunists and a lot of people selling maybe some fish oil.
Yeah, selling a dream.
Yeah, snake oil, fish oil. I don't know. Fish oil is actually good for you. Snake oil doesn't exist. I don't know. So Gearhead Grotto is the ad that I see come up on Facebook. And if you watch this video, probably because of algorithms and they're listening
It'll
to you.
It'll happen to you too.
You're going to see this quote unquote investment opportunity. Right. So where do we start? This one might be a long one because boy, oh boy, I had a lot of fun digging. First of all, okay, so the gist of it is they're selling an investment in this Gearhead Grotto Fund 1, which I think is important because there could be a Fund 2. And it is this $5 billion plus market opportunity. And
that's a big number.
It's a very big number. Yeah. I don't know what percent of the market share they'll actually have, but $5 billion. And they're going to be building these garage mahals in multiple locations. I think they said they've identified 12 locations around the country that they're going to be building and expanding to, right? Which I can identify 12 locations on a map too by going point. There
I'm also pretty sure, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here, but they were supposed to break ground over a year ago.
Oh, gee. Oh, man. Okay.
Sorry.
I don't want to get too far ahead either, but if any of you have been listening to this podcast for years, you'll remember Jeff Badger and Club Motor Estates, which was a scam. I said it. I mean it. A scam here locally, which was exactly this. It was a motorsports complex, build to suite garages, custom built everything, blah, 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 community, and total scam. And there's a bunch of red flags I identified, and boy, do we have deja vu all over again.
Whew.
To use that phrase redundantly. Because, yeah, right? Supposed to break ground last year, haven't yet. So if you go on Gearhead Grotto's website, depending on which website you go to, because one of them is a parked website, courtesy of GoDaddy.com, real up on their stuff there. But if you go to gearheadgrotto.com/fund-1, soon to be Fund 2, Fund 3, whatever, you can check out what they are offering. Now, most of the photos on here are either CG or
oh my God,
they are taken from other dealerships or clubs or something. One of them I found a photo with that was taken from a Delman Sportwagen, which is an exotic car dealership in Germany.
Oh.
And of course, all the photos of their custom-built garages and their spaces and everything is all CG, totally.
Yeah, there was no real photo of anything that has been built.
Correct. Nothing has been built. Nothing at all. We know that for sure. But there's a lot of fancy words, including a quote from the founder: "The power of desire will forever change the way we invest." Big numbers proposed, like I said, billions of dollars. Their internal rate of return projected is 41.8%. They have this nice little flow chart about how they keep reinvesting your money and earn and profit and all these headlines. And it's all literally just, here's what we think will happen.
And they've called out so often that you are supposed to have your full investment back by year 3. They've got this whole 5-year plan of what's going to, and it is brought up repeatedly.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see. But in a different Facebook post by one of the founders, Scott Stellman, this was a Facebook post for another company he also is starting under this fund. It's Goldbox Storage. And the website for Goldbox Storage is literally just one single page, and literally the page title is ClickFunnels landing page.
Nice.
Yeah. He did not hire Semdek to do his site design. On this Facebook post, he advertises 10x returns. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So all of this is under a company called Trestle Financial, right? A private equity firm, real estate fund management, and they're doing luxury man cave garages and apparently gold storage as well.
I got to tell you, Doug, before you get even further into this, the amount of
worked up
buzzwords and investment things it makes me sleepy. All these pages, all of this return, that return, passion, investment, return. Brr.
There are a lot of buzzwords.
It's intense. It's all it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue.
There's a book written by John Warshawski, who's a car guy, called Why Business People Speak Like Idiots. Brilliant book. Some of these would-be scammers would do well to read that. Anyway, so a big selling point. We don't need to go into all that. Check it out yourself. It's maddening reading it. But okay, so the point about the Gearhead Grotto Fund, one, here's why it's important. When we were covering Steve Saleen and his Facebook capital raise, we learned, because we're amateurs when it comes to this high-level M&A and investing stuff, blah, 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 like we're just covering it as we see it from a layman's perspective, because really that's who they're trying to get invest. We learned that whatever the minimum amount you file with the SEC for a round of funding, once that amount has been raised, not the maximum amount, but the minimum, and I think in Celine's case it was $10,000, the round of funding is considered complete and therefore is like a valid investment round, and so you're not required to return the funds to the investors because it wasn't.
Oh,
so
yes.
Like if you say the minimum is 10K and the maximum is 10 million, if you raise $11,000, the people who invested cannot expect to get their money back.
Yes.
So that's why red flag here. I see Gearhead Grotto Fund 1. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if they're planning to scam people, if this is not really a legitimate operation, or they're saying this is our contingency plan, is if this doesn't work, we're still going to take the money. Not saying that's their plan. I'm just saying this is what I'm observing. So when I get a letter from their legal team, anticipating it already, although I don't know. Speaking of their team, okay, they talk about 100 years of combined experience in this industry, but there's only 2 people listed on their website. One of them is Kurt Williams, who's the chief executive officer and co-founder. Everything on him checks out. I think he's the real deal. Scott Stellman, the chief investment officer. That's where he and Jeff Badger seem like bros from another hoe.
Whoa.
Yeah. So where do we start? Okay. 100 plus years of combined experience. However, according to the Utah Secretary of State, Trestle Financial was only formed in 2023. Okay. Yep. Sure.
Yep.
Could just be a new company, right? Let's see. Scott Stellman's experience. Let's talk a little bit about that because there's not much on the internet about him other than his LinkedIn and his Facebook for Trestle Financial. But if you look him up, you find out that his previous business was a custom home company. And boy, oh boy, this reeks of Jeff Badger all over again because he was a custom home builder as well that didn't pay his vendors. And let's see, his Google reviews for Stellman Custom Builders, I believe it is. Stellman Custom Homes. All 5 of them that are still up. 4 of them are bad. And one of them literally says, quote unquote, this business robs Peter to pay Paul.
Nice.
That was 1 year ago.
Wow.
1 year ago after Trestle Financial had already been founded. We had our basement finished and later ended up getting a lien placed on our home for a bill we paid directly to them that they never paid to the vendor until we confronted them and demanded the amount to be paid. The only time the contractor actually came to our home to check on the project was when he was coming to collect a payment. Yeah. Can't seem to get paid for the work we did for them. Terrible experience. Yeah. So that's his most recent business and investment expertise that qualifies him to lead this multi-$100 million funding project for this multi-campus luxury man cave conglomerate.
I'll state this is not.
Let's see. Stellman's companies are registered to 460 East 200 North in Springville, Utah, which is an 1,100 square foot box.
Nice.
Small home.
Big box.
No, small.
Oh, small box.
It's for a house.
Oh, okay.
Now, again, nothing wrong with a humble abode, right? Fine. But when you bill yourself as a custom home builder with 40 years experience, unless you're like Warren Buffett, it's highly unlikely that you wouldn't flaunt it just a wee bit. Right?
Yeah, just a little.
Yeah, if not you, your wife might say, "Hey, let's live in a house that's kind of like the homes you build." Yeah, it's this tiny little box. Now, the argument could also be made that he's a property investor, right? So smart money, smart wealthy people don't register stuff to their main residence, right?
Yeah.
That anything that could be public, right? They have all these layers of protection. Okay, well, his wife, Jill, is registered in the county as the owner of this property, and neither he nor his wife own any other property in that county or Salt Lake County, which is the 2 largest counties in Utah and neighboring. Nice. So like, hey, if you're going to be a property investor, probably that's where it'd be. So yeah, this guy doesn't seem to have been successful in the past, but now he wants you to think that he's got all this experience and hand you his money.
Because he's going to do great things.
Yeah. The minimum investment, by the way, is approximately the value of his home.
Oh, the box?
Yes.
Nice.
Which is interesting because on the
like
website, they're all like, click here to find out, to apply, to see if you're accredited, to see if you qualify to invest.
Yeah, and
right?
isn't
So
it
they're
like
trying to make it exclusive. Scott Stellman would not qualify to invest in his own project based on the information I'm finding.
Whew.
I feel like I need a lawyer by my side for this one.
Don't worry, Ethan will be over here to smack you over the head with a mic.
Did you book a call with them?
No.
That's a big CTA on their website here is book a call.
Oh. No, I don't need to hear from people like this because they're just going to give me a pitch. They're going to give me all their lines. That's what Jeff Badger did. He had an answer for everything. Okay. Again, don't want to make... there's a saying saved in my phone that I'm going to pull up right now because I feel like this is important to the criticism that I'm levying upon this guy. Don't despise small beginnings. I 100% believe in that statement. I started with nothing. However, it's a big bunch of red flags when you're getting an investment pitch from somebody who claims to have all this experience and success, and you're talking about these kinds of sums of money and their background is suspect, right? Like they don't have a verified track record. Money is the validation in business that you are good at what you do.
Well, and I think without even talking about this situation specifically, when you don't have the background to back it up, to make people comfortable, investing that amount of money because of your prior success, you have to start smaller. There's so many things, all the clout chasing and everything else that we talk about is specifically even just in cars, at Cars and Coffee. Everybody wants to just immediately get to the end.
Correct.
Immediately get to all the success without doing anything to prove that you can handle it.
Correct. And that's also how I responded to the critics when I was making fun of these truckers that are haggard equipment shipping Lamborghinis. Well, he's just trying to make a living. Okay, great.
Don't ship Lamborghinis.
Yes. Take your haggard equipment and go ship Hondas.
Yes.
Right? If you have a rusty, leaky lawnmower, don't try to mow the lawn of the Biltmore estate.
100%.
Right? So work your way up. I did the same thing. No, I didn't. I was brokering Maseratis and Range Rovers right off the bat, but I wasn't buying them. I was not trying to buy them. Okay. Hindsight, I would have not done it that way, but whatever. Here we are. Okay, here's the biggest red flag. One of their SEC filings, I did not find all of them, or maybe this was the only one, but here is an SEC filing. And again, I'm not an M&A expert, whatever, so this may be how things usually work, but to me, as a accredited investor, this was concerning. Okay. SEC filing, Form D, name of issuer, Trestle Financial, LLC. Also, Passion Capital Partners, LLC, at the same address. I probably should have looked them up. Let's see. Kurt Williams, the CEO, is listed on here, as well as Scott Stellman. Again, Kurt Williams, everything checks out. He's got a real resume, lives in a $2 million house in Utah. So my theory is that he might be the first victim of Scott Stellman's ability to sell. He may exit from this sooner than later, or maybe not. I don't know. I'm just making observations and guesses. All right, so this is a pooled investment fund. And let's see. The issuer size, they said decline to disclose. Type of filing, new notice, first sale yet to occur. So they have not raised any money. This is the first sale, according to this SEC filing, made in 2024. I believe this was. Yet on their website, they say that $40 million has already been raised.
Oof, where's it?
$40 million already committed. That could be anything.
Yeah, committed from where? Your mom?
I'll give them a letter of intent for $40 million. Well, that could be too. People said, okay, when you build the first one, I'll do $40 million. It could be a contingent commitment. Sorry. Let's see. This gets good. Wait for it. Okay. Minimum investment accepted from any outside investor, $250,000.
Whoa. That's a lot of dough.
Total offering amount, $20 million. Use of proceeds.
Here we go.
Right? Because we know they're raising money, right? This entire ad, this is not new. They wouldn't deny that they're trying to raise capital. The question is, where's it going? 16, use of proceeds. Provide the amount. This is reading word for word from the SEC filing. Provide the amount of the gross proceeds of the offering that has been or is proposed to be used for payments to any of the persons required to be named as executive officers, directors, or promoters in response to item 3 above. Would you like a guess, Tyler, at what that dollar amount is?
Is it the full dollar amount?
It is!
Whoa!
Ding, 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 ding. $20 million.
Interesting.
Yes. Clarification of response, if necessary. Quote, Trestle Financial is raising capital to support the operational expansion and strategic needs of its portfolio companies and developments by offering a stake of ownership in the general partner. sounds real fishy to me.
Something doesn't smell right.
There might be some people that wear suits and work on the 44th floor that'll be like, no, that's boilerplate. That's how they always do it. But sorry, layman here,
it reads a little
host of the
weird.
podcast, doesn't smell right to me.
Just doesn't feel right.
$20 million use of proceeds goes to the officers.
Yeah.
Capital to support the operational expansion and strategic needs of its portfolio companies. Which ones?
Yes. It's so
Which
vague.
ones? You got a landing website for one of them. Like, how much money do you need for that?
Oh.
This is probably a $500 website. Oh my gosh.
You know what also doesn't sit right? I'm going to let you take a drink for a second. I went through, and we can come back to your train of thought. I went through their Facebook. All of it. Every single post from the 2023 up until, November 24. They stopped posting there because I don't think it got them anything. Everything just feels like a poorly written ad or like they're hashtags filled with things to try to get people to engage. And there is zero engagement other than on one post. Gearhead Grotto from July 14th, 2023. Another, and I'm going to read this verbatim, the capitalization's wonky too. Another of our team members enjoying a limited edition sweet ride, ellipses. 2015 Jag XKR convertible. This was the last model year for the XK line, another ellipses. Kurt Williams commented. The only time somebody commented on Facebook and says, this was a great Cal commuter car. But now I'm looking for a fun daily driver I can take to the track. Any recommendations? Gearhead Grotto responds with Aston Martin Diablo.
What?
Which doesn't exist.
Wait, what? Seriously?
No punctuation. Aston Martin Diablo. So did he respond to himself? Was this the other guy? Who was doing and there's so much AI and just trash on it's all garbage.
I had a theory that Kurt Williams was either made up or had his identity stolen for this thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it seems suspect that somebody this legitimate would get involved with somebody that appears to be that illegitimate.
Yeah.
Right? Now, maybe Scott played to Kurt's ego and said, oh, well, you're going to be CEO, so you get the main title or whatever. Who knows? I mean, it is an interesting pitch, right? Every car guy with money wants to be a part of something like this, right? And it's a brick and mortar thing. So you think oh yeah, well, I can see it being built, whatever. I've seen more pitches for projects like this in Ohio in the last 3 years that have never materialized to anything than,
I stopped believing in the rumors because I was like, oh, that would be kind of sweet if it would if it could be comparable to what I spend now on an apartment, that would be sick to just have space.
The crazy thing is the people that do it don't really talk about it because they typically either self-fund or they have a group of investors already and they just go out and build it. And they don't advertise on Facebook. I mean, listen, I don't think anybody seeing the ads or listening to this is in danger of investing in Trestle Financial or Gearhead Grotto, right? We're not saving anybody. This is just fun to talk about.
You tell me Warren Buffett doesn't invest based on Facebook ads? What? I've been doing this all wrong. I gotta make some phone calls.
Take our 60-second quiz to see if you qualify and get instant access to our pitch deck. Are you an accredited investor? One of the check boxes is my net worth is over $1 million excluding primary residence.
Well, it's like
sorry, Scott, I don't think you qualify.
But it's like they've built up this whole thing to feel exclusive and to pump people up and say, oh yeah, I can be a part of this. This is crazy. But it looks like as a layman who doesn't have that kind of money, that this feels just like such obvious pandering and just fakeness. I don't want to say this is a real company, but it feels just the AI art and the bad grammar and punctuation and all the it oozes this discomfort.
Trusted team of providers for operational excellence and compliance. Industry-leading service providers ensuring smooth operations, regulatory compliance, and secure financial management for investors. And they have 5 logos, including JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. I don't think
does any of that mean?
Probably just that they have bank accounts there.
Holy moly. What does any of this mean?
That's a valid question.
It all makes as much sense as Aston Martin Diablo. Oh, boy.
Right. Like half of this didn't need to be said because if you see an ad for investment opportunities on Facebook, you should just know right off the bat that's enough you need to know to not invest. However, if you want my track record on calling out people like this too early, just look up Jeff Badger, Geoff Badger, and Club Motor Estates. I was calling that way before it happened. I nailed every single thing. And again, all of this is my opinion. So
I wonder, I'm not discounting anything you said, but I wonder how much it matters because I also went to their Instagram page, which they're much more active on.
Oh, yeah.
They get less than 5 views on every single, or less than 5 likes on every single reel that they post. And it's all just rehashing the same verbiage and buzzwords and fluff. It is just like going nowhere. There's no comments, no engagement. There's nothing. Is anybody even seeing this?
That's the problem is I feel like I spent all this energy calling out something that didn't need to be called out because nobody's aware of it anyway. But the fact that this Kurt guy is involved, I'm like, that's a real guy with experience. So
I spent way too much time scrolling through these social media pages.
I was really hoping that Scott faked Kurt's
that would
stole
be
a picture
hilarious
and all that. But Kurt's LinkedIn page says he's the CEO of Trestle Financial. Plus he has all this other background that's legit. So I think that's legit. That would have been the nice nail in the coffin there, but not to be. All right, let's move on to the Corvette curmudgeon / shrewd negotiator, both and think selling Corvettes is hard. Try selling Corvette parts. I've got a set of Speedline Corvette ZR1 wheels on Facebook Marketplace, and the buyer messaged me, Larry, good Corvette name.
Nice.
Do you know any history on them? Wheels.
History?
Wheels. So I responded, only 3 owners, never seen rain, were mounted on a one-of-one Corvette that won 17 trophies, always hand-washed, never been driven over 150 miles an hour.
So good.
Sorry for all the questions, but I want to make sure I'm going to put them on my 2013 427 convertible Corvette. I'm like...
They always got to tell you the year and the, this is what I drive. So I'm real. I'm a part of this.
Yeah. So I just said, the wheels are perfect. Like, we can put them on a balancer. You can come see them, whatever you want. Like, they're takeoffs from a ZR1, but wheels don't come with a Carfax report. And he said, yes, I understand that, but I figured you may have some info on the wheels and ZR1 that they came off of. I wasn't being funny with you at all. For the amount of money that I'm spending, I want to make sure I get the best. That's all. And I'm like... Then come look at them. What does it matter what car they were on? You're not buying the car. You're buying the friggin' wheels.
Yeah. Did the owner take care of his Corvette?
They might have been taken off at 2 miles and it's irrelevant. Come look at the dang wheels.
Either way, they don't look as good as those yellow C5 pace car wheels. I'll tell you what. Whoo!
This episode is brought to you by Sheffield All Sport Watches. The Sheffield brand was recently revived by Jay Turkbus, an owner of an original Sheffield All Sport diver he received from his parents in 1970 when he was just 11, beginning his love of watches. As an adult, Jay used his extensive expertise in product development and marketing to revive the brand that started it all. He set out to develop watches with a high level of quality and specification at a value price. His first effort, and a successful one in July of 2023, was the debut of the Sheffield All Sport Diver 1. It had the kind of build and movement that much more expensive watches use, and his debut price of $108 was equivalent to the $13 his parents paid back in 1970. Since that debut, Sheffield has expanded to a wider range of automatics and chronos, many designed around vintage Sheffield dials of the 60s. The Sheffield well of clever and unique design remains his inspiration, as well as maintaining the goal of high quality, very affordable range of automatic and quartz watches. Sheffield Watches, value on merit, not just price. I love mine. Get yours at SheffieldWatches.com and mention that you heard about them on SwitchCast. Thank you for joining us for SwitchCast with Doug Tabbutt and Tyler Sanders, produced by Ethan Huffnagel. SwitchCast is an automotive entertainment and opinion show, and nothing we say should be taken very seriously. We do not give tax, investment, legal, emotional, or professional advice, and the only licenses we hold are driver's licenses. The opinions expressed on this show are exclusively held by the people pontificating at that moment and do not reflect the values of our producers or sponsors. Our theme music is provided by Emily and Ivory. You can stream their full album on Spotify or SoundCloud. If you like this show, you can stream it in its entirety on your favorite audio podcast platform. Check out switchcast.live for more info.